this is no ordinary plane. It's a Soviet supersonic MiG-21, capable of flying at twice the speed of sound. It is the most advanced fighter jet of its time. In the midst of the Cold War, the Soviets aimed to reduce Western dominance in the Middle East and supply Iraq, Syria, and Egypt with modern weapons, including MiG-21s. To Israel, it's a growing threat. The MiG-21's capabilities far outclass anything they have. Israel needs to gain a military advantage, and they have a plan. They're about to launch an operation to snatch a MiG-21 right out from under the nose of their enemies. But how do you steal a fighter jet? This is the story of Operation Diamond, one of the most audacious espionage operations of the Cold War. It's the early 1960s, and Israel is surrounded by neighbors armed with Soviet weapons. The new Mossad chief asks Israel's military commanders what his spies could do to tip the balance. Their answer is brazen: get us a MiG-21 fighter jet. The MiG-21 is the pride of the Soviet arsenal, a lethal, single-seat interceptor that outclasses anything Israel has. These jets are well protected by the Soviets. They even use their own personnel to guard the jets at Arab bases. Stealing one seems impossible, but Israel's survival in a future war might hinge on knowing the MiG's secrets. So Mossad, Israel's spy agency, gets to work on what sounds like an impossible mission. In 1962, Mossad agents in Egypt find a fighter pilot willing to defect for $1 million. It backfires. The pilot turns them in, and the Israeli spies get arrested and later executed. On the second attempt, Mossad approaches two Iraqi pilots with a similar offer. That doesn't work out either. The pilots refuse to cooperate. Mossad agents have to violently silence them to prevent exposure. By now, it's clear this mission is extremely dangerous. Israel needs a new approach and a stroke of luck. And that luck comes in 1964 from an unexpected source. A man named Joseph approaches Israeli contacts with an inside tip. He knows an Iraqi MiG-21 pilot who might be willing to defect. Joseph is an Iraqi Jew living in Baghdad. He has worked as a servant for a wealthy Christian family since childhood. He's in a good relationship with them. They trust him with everything. And one of their close friends is Captain Munir Redfa, a MiG-21 pilot in the Iraqi Air Force. Yusuf has heard Redfa is deeply unhappy. This is exactly what Mossad has been looking for. This is Munir Redfa. He's no ordinary Iraqi pilot. He's an Assyrian Christian in a Muslim-majority military, a distinction that has stalled his career and bred resentment. Despite being a talented pilot, Redfa sees no future in an air force that discriminates against him for his faith. What's even worse, he's ordered to bomb his own people, the Kurdish rebels. He seems to be an ideal target for defection, proud, frustrated, and ready to risk everything. Mossad deploys a woman to Baghdad. Her mission is to get him to trust her. The two meet at a party and hit it off immediately. She earns Redfa's trust, becoming the person he turns to for emotional support. Over drinks and private meetings, Redfa pours out his frustrations. The Mossad agent plays the sympathetic friend, helping his disillusionment grow. In July 1966, she invites Redfa on a romantic holiday to Europe. It's sold to him as a simple trip for the two of them. Redfa agrees, not suspecting a thing. After spending a few days in Europe, it's finally time to reveal the truth. She hands him 2 plane tickets and a fresh passport, saying, "How about we go to Israel? I have some friends there who can help you." At that moment, Redfa realizes this is all a setup. The beautiful stranger is a Mossad agent, and he's been targeted from the start. Instead of exploding in anger, Redfa stays calm. He now understands what is on offer, a way out of his unhappy life. The Israeli proposal is generous and tempting: $1 million, Israeli citizenship, and a guaranteed job for life. And most importantly, his entire family will be extracted to safety. Redfa's wife, children, parents, everyone. For Redfa, protecting his family is just as important as escaping his situation. He makes one thing clear: no deal unless you get my wife, children, and relatives out first. Israel agrees. The terms are set. One by one, family members quietly vanish from Iraq in the summer of 1966. Redfa's wife, Betty, believes she's just going on a short vacation to Paris with their 2 small children. She has no idea what her husband is planning. In Paris, a Mossad agent approaches her with an Israeli passport and the shocking news that she and the kids aren't going back to Iraq. Betty is furious and frightened. She even threatens to call the Iraqi embassy in protest. Fortunately, she's persuaded to keep calm, realizing this is the only way to keep her family safe. Redfa's parents and siblings are taken to a picnic near the border, where Kurdish rebels assist in getting them into Iran. From Iran, they are flown to Israel. By mid-August, all the pieces are in place. August 16, 1966. Captain Munir Redfa climbs into the cockpit of his Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-21 at an airbase outside Baghdad, just as he has many times before. To everyone else, everything is normal. This is a routine navigation training flight. But Redfa's heart is pounding. He knows today is the day. He's about to steal this jet or die trying. Redfa takes off and points his MiG toward the sky. Climbing to altitude, he heads out on the pretext of a navigation exercise. This is his chance, now or never. Redfa veers off course, turning west, speeding toward the Jordanian border. Back at his home base, radar operators see the blip on radar swing away from its approved route. They radio him in panic.
"Turn back immediately or we'll shoot you down."
He switches off his radio, cutting the desperate voices of his comrades out of his headphones. By the time they understand what's happening, Redfa is already beyond their reach. The stolen MiG-21 enters Jordanian airspace at high altitude. Jordanian radars pick up the unauthorized jet. They let Syria know that a MiG is heading their way, asking if it's theirs. The Syrians, not knowing what's going on, tell Jordan it's just a MiG on a training flight. Redfa manages to slip past the Arab air defenses unnoticed. Within minutes, the MiG is flying over the Jordan River and into Israeli skies. By now, Israeli radars have spotted the incoming jet. The Israeli Air Force immediately sends out 2 Mirage 3 CJ fighters to intercept the incoming MiG. Under escort, he descends toward a secret airstrip at Hatzor Air Base in the Israeli desert. At 1300 hours local time, Redfa gently brings the MiG-21 down onto the runway in Israel. The Israeli ground crew and intelligence teams rush forward. They have a Soviet MiG-21. Redfa has flown nearly 600 miles or 900 kilometers to freedom, much of it over enemy territory. Newspapers around the world spread the sensational news. For a brief moment, Munir Redfa is the most talked about pilot on the planet. Israeli engineers and pilots swarm the plane, studying its design and testing its capabilities. They discover the MiG's strengths and, more importantly, its weaknesses. In June 1967, the 6-day war erupts and Israel's Air Force achieves overwhelming air superiority against Egypt and Syria's Soviet-supplied fleets. Israeli pilots know the MiG-21 inside and out. In early 1968, under a secret program codenamed Have Donut, Israel lends the MiG-21 to the U.S. Air Force for a few weeks. American test pilots fly extensively in Nevada, simulating dogfights to devise tactics for U.S. pilots facing MiGs over Vietnam. This intelligence coup even helps diplomacy. Recognizing Israel's value as an ally, the United States soon approves the sale of advanced F-4 Phantom fighters to Israel, a deal that had been stalled before. Operation Diamond pays strategic dividends far beyond what anyone imagined.